Hello everybody, welcome to the Boxing Locker. I am Matt Goddard, former professional boxer, now boxing coach and avid Philly shell advocate. Ties into the title, you guys are watching for a reason, and this is my Philly shell basics, specifically for those of you that have pretty much no experience with the Philly shell, okay? So primarily what we're looking at with the Philly shell is a much more bladed stance and position, okay? So when I'm in my boxing stance, as I am here, normally I would be slightly offset with that rear leg, my shoulders going across the angle of the opponent at 45 degrees, lead shoulder still nearer, but everything from there. Now, what I want to do is essentially put myself at a 90-degree perpendicular angle to theirs, boom, boom. Now that back toe can point out slightly more, back heel is up, my lead shoulder points, boom, like a spear, straight at the opponent, whoop, straight in there. Then that rear hand either tucks in or comes to the side. Now, generally with the Philly shell, we see that thumb to chin kind of positioning and the lead hand tucks under. When it's ready to work, the elbow comes back and you're in this position, boom, bah, bah, yeah? When we're doing the Philly shell, remember, the Philly shell itself is a very defensive style, a real geared to counter-punching style, and it's really, really essential that you have a nice relaxed and efficient jab, okay? So when I'm in this stance, I need to be here to just work, step in with that jab, step back with a jab, drop down with the jab, double the jab, move off. You have to have loads of options with the jab because your lead hand is the only thing that's going to stop them walking in and whirling away. Now, there may come times when you think, I'll come back up to the ropes, let you have a go at it. Pop, 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 tuck in, counter, move off the ropes, make them look stupid. But first and foremost, you need to be in control, and that can only come from a good jab. So Philly shell, elbows back here. What that's doing now is lead shoulders pointing at the target. It means if they come in, I can hook short with very little effort. Or I can throw that jab from there, out of the line of sight. I can drop down to the body. The right hand can defend. I can use the forearm where necessary. So you have options in that position, right? So that's the second part. More bladed stance, lead hand, rear hand position. Now, what do we do with this defense? Okay, so how does it really work? Now, if straight punches are coming at us, we have two options. Now, this is basic. I'm going to basically construct this as an orthodox fighter against southpaw and orthodox, right? So irrelevant of whether my opponent is southpaw or orthodox, the same premise applies when I'm using it as an orthodox fighter. So when I see a left hand coming at me, okay, it doesn't matter whether they're orthodox or southpaw. When I see a left hand coming at me, I'm either going to catch the left hand off the body. Notice how it's off the body here, but intercept the punch. Don't go too far forward. Intercept the punch with strength, but use the body, tuck into the shoulder. That's nice and strong there. Caught the punch, doesn't leave any gap, okay? I'm tucked in tight, there's no gap there. Or I'm going to slip under it. As I slip under it, I'm in a position to work and throw my counters, okay? The straight right hand as an orthodox fighter using the Philly shell is the one I roll. So the straight right hand, I come here. Now, the roll itself is a fractional lift of the shoulder. They're aiming at chin height generally, remember? So they're aiming at chin height. So I need to lift the shoulder and turn off. What that does is it deflects the blow in that direction, takes it away from my head, and loads my rear shoulder for a counter, or enables me to tuck back in. Now, we do have other options on the straight right hand, so I can roll under it, drop inside, roll under it and come up, drop inside, roll under it and come up. Or if it's a single straight right hand, as a southpaw jab, for example, I can slip outside, boom, body shot, head shot, cross, there, boom, all those options, okay? But keeping it basic, roll the shoulder or roll under it. Those are the two kind of safest options with the right hand, particularly the orthodox version, because it comes off the jab, you roll under it, you slip under it, you roll under it, you catch, you turn the shoulder. That way it's a lot smoother and easier to transition between them, and subsequently the defense just looks a lot better and is more functional and efficient in its whole methodology, all right? Now, left hooks, okay? So I'm in my orthodox Philly shell stance. Now, just a side point, it's important that we have that abdominals drawn in and the hips slightly back, okay? We need to be sat down slightly. If we're stood up right up here and that comes in, that shoulder's dropped immediately. See how the height shifts? When I hunch over, push the hips out, suck the belly in. What that does is it puts me in a nice firm position over my legs, and I'm already halfway into the touch. I'm already there to roll. And I can lift and rise with that shoulder to create a more defensive tool there. If I'm upright, I've got too high to go, and I'm up on my feet, you're ending up getting knocked all over the place. Okay, so the left hook comes to me, and I'm either going to catch it. Now, what a lot of people do is they catch like this when they're trying to Philly shell. You catch like this, it's opening you up. Now, there are times when it will work, particularly if you catch here and throw the hook, back, boom. But generally, if you're just defending, the catch, the roller here, that shoulder stays in. Now there's no gap for that right hand to follow it up. Then I can shoot my own shots, okay? We don't want to expose ourselves unless we're absolutely 100% certain we're going to be throwing that hook. Now, the other thing to remember here is a lot of opponents are going to fake the left hook or flash the left hook to drive the right hand down the middle. If I go here, and that was just a feint, that right hand's opening right up, which if I go here, that right hand is going to catch on that shoulder. At the very least, it's going to intercept the blow to an extent and diminish its power. With the right hook, we got the same options as the cross. We roll the shoulder or we drop under it. I recommend always taking a lateral step when you roll a right hook. Coming out, boom, and then you're in position, do whatever you need to do. It's just safer, you're getting yourself off the center line, you're creating a new angle for more attacks, and also you're giving yourself more time to reset and get ready to re-engage, right? So, back in my stance. So I roll or I shoulder roll, okay? So we've got two options, shoulder roll or roll under. Sorry, lost my way there. Anyway, uppercuts, what do we do on uppercuts? Now, generally uppercuts are almost impossible to get through on the Philly shell because that bladed stance gives me so much protection. But what does happen is when people turn here, there's a nice little gap appears in there, or uppercut into the body, right? So I'm here and I come to this position too far. What I want to do is come to this position and then that opportunity doesn't arise, okay? If I also keep my weight sat back on the back leg slightly all the time, back heel slightly raised, but weight sat back on that back leg, my foot is so much nearer, my hip is so much nearer to them, that for them to get close enough to land an uppercut is going to be a real challenge. And also they have to extend the punch a lot more, which means it's going to be slower, further away from me, and give me more opportunity to either pick them off before they land or counter that punch, right? So sitting back slightly, hunched over, I'm in a nice position here. If they throw a left uppercut, I'm all tucked in to deal with it. I'm all tucked in, I can just turn off. I can use that left arm, I can use the right hand. Remember not to pat too low. See this position here? There's too big a gap here. What I want to do is catch in there, so it's always tight to the arm. Then I can easily adapt should the punch change. If it's a right uppercut, they've got no chance. Body shots, okay? Often recommended to use against Philly shell users. The jab to the chest. Now, if I'm correctly bladed, that jab to the chest is almost worthless. Shrug off what? There's a counter. That jab to the chest. Shrug off what? There's a counter. So that jab, boom, there. Jab to the body. It's coming in this way, coming to the chest, even with an opening. Shut it off, turn out. Shut it off, turn out. It's not going to land. Any hooks around the side. This hand is here. Boom. Elbow comes back. Elbow drops down. You're dealing with it. Your whole body's moving as a single unit. And you're in a position to take them body shots away. If you can't get hit with body shots, it's going to be very difficult to drain your energy enough so that you aren't competent moving forward in the rounds, okay? Particularly in a long fight. Remember, it's important that we don't absorb too much impact, so take a couple of shots, get your way out, or take a couple of shots, boom, counter, find a way to take over the exchange and make sure you're the one in control. The last punch I'm going to go through is the overhand right. Now, orthodox to orthodox, that overhand right is a very effective shot, okay? Even if I was boxing in this stance, even if I was boxing up here, the overhand right is the most dangerous punch in boxing, orthodox to orthodox. Now, the easiest way to deal with it is you've got two very simple options. One is don't roll the shoulder, first and foremost, but option one is step inside, just shut the space down, let the arm fly over your head. Tuck in, shoulder into here, hand into here, you're nice and tight. Boom, there's the left hook covered on the counter. That right hand's going to sail over your head. You might get a bit wrapped up, but grab when you get in there, clinch, taking the punch away. Second option is the roll. You see that arm go high, drop, turn out. Make sure you take that lateral step across. I mentioned I'm here, I drop, I turn out, bop, 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 then you can work. Overhand left orthodox against southpaw is a difficult one. because it's really hard to see. So if that right hand comes with a nice shoulder roll, puts that overhand left in a position to really come around the side. So what options do I have? Same thing with that step in, shut down a space. Left leg moves into their right leg. My hands are up high. Second option, roll and turn. Same thing, then you can work. You have to move out laterally. So those are my Philly shell basics for the defensive aspect and the positioning. We talked about the jab, but the jab here, the key thing is that I rotate that wrist over. If I snap that wrist over, so I'm in this position, my little finger lifts and my thumb turns down. Bam. Yeah, now I make a fist, I'm in that position. Bam. 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 It's going to throw with force, it's going to throw with power, and your shoulder stays relaxed. Bam. 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 Then you can whip round hooks, you can throw uppercut. Bam. 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 Always in a position with that right hand loaded. That's the second part of the attack that's important. This arm is always coiled. So I see them coming in, boom, short punch, real quick counter. I see them coming in, I land the jab, bam, throwing it through with real force. Short catch, boom, uppercuts. Shoulder, boom, uppercut, boom, right hook, body, boom, over, back in. You've got so many options with that rear hand because it's always loaded, so it's always going to land effectively. With the left hand, the same thing, but we're looking for a more relaxed, whippy throw of every shot. Bam. Snap through that shoulder, that elasticated shoulder. Bam, bam, bam. That's where the real power is. If you can develop as much velocity, as much speed through that movement as possible, it's going to be doing damage, even if you're not really trying to hit too hard. Now, the last thing I'm going to bring up is Philly shell. You cannot over-rotate your feet, okay? So even on that back leg, I really want to only be going to this point. A couple of times when I'm rushing them demos, I'm feeling myself over rotate. It's completely unnecessary. You're in a nice position. This shoulder can't go any further back. You don't need a lot more than that. You don't need a lot more than that. What? Boom. Bring yourself back into the position. You certainly should never pivot that lead foot. I get to this point here, in that position, all of my weight is on one leg. Boom. Now I'm here. Get sent flying backwards, you're going to get beat up, right? Remember, when you box in this style, the most vulnerable aspect is that your lead hand is low, okay? That's rubbish if you've trained reactions correctly, if you've trained defense correctly, if you've enabled yourself to be composed and competent in that position, okay? You do that with partner drills, tech sparring, light sparring, and then eventually hard sparring, okay? You can do it with mitt work, you can do it on a heavy bag, but you need to be doing it all the time, okay? This isn't something you can just float in and out of and expect to be competent at, all right? It may work on occasion, it may work against lesser opponents. The likelihood of it working against anyone on your level is extremely low unless you are on it non-stop all the time, every single day, practicing it, watching, do your film study, check out James Toney, check out Floyd Mayweather, check out Andre Ward, check out Bernard Hopkins, go back, check out George Benton. Go back and watch the old fighters, how much they use the shoulder, even not even from the Philly shell position. Even when they're here, the shoulders are rolling. Watch Tyson Fury with his back against the rope against Otto Wallen. He's using the shoulders to defend. Muhammad Ali, same thing. The shoulders are so useful and completely underutilized. Watch Randolph Turpin against Sugar Ray Robinson. The shoulders are high. He's defending shots like this. If you can use your shoulders appropriately to defend punches, then you're in a really, really good position in the pocket to land hard, land fast, and land in dangerous places. So there we have it, guys. That's my basics, Philly shell basics for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Any questions you have, please do ask. I'm always here to help as many people as possible. That's why I do this, okay? It's not just for financial gain. I've got my business here, and I'm doing this to get as much information into the public domain as possible. Ideally, I'd like to make a decent living out of it at the same time, but we'll get there one day, hey? Yeah, like, subscribe, check out the rest of my content, and have a wicked day, everybody. I appreciate all of you, especially those of you that bothered to watch to the end.